I'm Eric Odom, writer of today's episode, and you're listening to Gather by the Ghostlight.
All right, welcome back to Season 5 of Gather by the Ghostlight. I'm Jonathan Cook, your host, producer, and sometimes voice actor on this thing.
And I'm Devon McSherry, confirmed actor on this one. Boom.
Yes, her voice is in this episode. Speaking of which, this is a special kind of episode because the writer of the play you're about to hear is local to Devon and I. And like a stalker, he found out where I lived. He found out the exact time and day that we are recording this intro. It could be because I emailed him that information, but who really knows the truth, okay? But here he is. Welcome, Eric Odom. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for throwing these clothes away that I found while going through your trash.
Going through my trash, he found some clothes to wear. That means he came over unclothed, which is makes us even weirder.
It's hot outside.
All right, so the other thing that makes this episode special is that Devon and I have known Eric for a few years now as in the theater community as an actor. But today, you're going to hear the first play that he's ever written. Yes, he has dabbled into playwriting, and we are excited to share this work with our audience. It's the world premiere. It's never been staged, and this is the first time anyone is going to hear it. And that reminds me of Devon, because back on season 2, the first time her voice was ever heard on this podcast was when she wrote her first play, and it premiered in season 2. It's called Motets Dame. Now, again, just like Eric, I had known Devon for years as an actress in town, and then she told me she got into playwriting, and she had me read this play that she wrote, which her first play was terrifically written, which, so both of you know, just so you know, my first play that I ever wrote, it sucked, and I would be embarrassed to produce it on this podcast. But you guys have started off with great roots, a great foundation, and we can't wait to see what else you guys do from here. All right, so Eric, since you're here, guess what you get to do?
Does it involve the two of you?
No.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to introduce your play. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this, and it all depends on the genre of your story. So, for example, if, let's say your play is a mystery and it has kind of a twisty ending, you might want to pull a little Rod Serling out, get that Rod Serling vibe. Maybe we'll insert a mysterious music cue right about here, and then you do something like so. You're about to meet a married couple, a woman and a man with a longing, a dream, if you will, of being parents and having their own child. They soon discover, however, the struggles that come with trying to get pregnant. But maybe the hope they carry with them can be the key that opens the door to the Twilight Zone. To parenthood, to family, whatever you want to say right there. And then another example is, let's say that your play is kind of a slapstick comedy with a sassy protagonist, much like our Devon McSherry here. Give an example of what that might sound like. So insert quirky little music cue right about here. Boom.
A happy couple is ready for the next step of their relationship, a family. But wanting a family does not guarantee a family.
All right, there you go. There's another example. Now, it's your turn. So you know your story better than either of us. So give us your best Eric Odom impression.
I'll do my best Eric Odom impression.
Do your best Eric Odom
impression.
And give us the breakdown intro of your play.
All right. A couple discusses their future, frustration, and fears while waiting on the results of a pregnancy test.
There you go. So you're about to hear a brand new play written by a brand spanking new writer, or should I say a brand new spanking writer?
Yeah, I'm not new to spanking.
There you go.
Okay, TMI, guys.
Now, gather around the Ghostlight, sit back and enjoy. This is 3x3, written by Eric Odom.
And be sure to stick around after the play for an interview with this guy.
Hey, Steph. Steph, you good? Anything I can do to help?
You already did your part. Okay. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Now we wait.
3 minutes. Are you nervous?
More anxious than nervous, more excited than anything. I know we've only been trying for a few months, but it feels like it could be it. I'm a few days late. I've been having vivid dreams. Foods taste different. I just feel, I don't know, optimistic.
You are kind of glowing. I just know you're going to make a great mother, Steph. So, You hoping for a boy or a girl?
I'm just hoping I'm pregnant. If I am, I know it's cliche, but I don't care as long as they are healthy. I just can't wait to hold a baby in my arms and start our little family.
Well, if we have a boy, I've already picked out a name. Callum.
Callum Larson. I don't hate it. I kind of like the way it sounds.
And we could call him Cal-L for short.
I always like the name. Wait, Kal-El? Is that from Superman?
What?
No, just no. We are not naming our son after Superman. Just for that, I hope we're having a girl. I hope we have nothing but girls.
I just hope to have an answer for everyone who keeps asking, when are you two going to have a baby? I feel like I've been dodging that question for over a year. Your aunt literally asked me at our wedding. And I'm starting to run out of creative responses.
Like what kind of creative responses?
Like when some old lady at church asked me, and I'm not even sure we know her, but I told her we would start having babies as soon as you stopped having headaches.
You said what? Do you know how that makes me look?
Sorry, I thought if I made the situation awkward for everyone, well then she'd regret asking me such a deeply personal question.
Please don't ever do that again. But it is kind of a personal question, isn't it? I don't understand how people can ask it so casually.
Someone even asked me if we were trying to have kids. Trying. That's basically asking if we are having frequent, unprotected sex. Now that's the question I'd rather answer. Can you imagine the look on some old woman's face if I looked her dead in the eye and said, well, yes, ma'am, Miss Brenda, raw dogging every chance we get.
You can't say that, Marcus.
But why not? If everyone is going to essentially inquire about our sex life with no hesitation, I should be allowed to answer honestly. Instead, I have to just smile and say, when the time is right, or we haven't decided yet.
You just have to learn to ignore it. All my life it's been, so when are you going to start dating? Do you have a boyfriend yet? Is it serious? When are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? It's like no one is happy with where I am in life. And after we do have a kid, they still won't be happy. They'll just want to know when we're going to have our next one. Then, if you have too many kids, people will want to know when you're going to stop. There's no winning. You just gotta smile and nod and not let it get to you.
I guess, but I still think it would be much easier if everyone just minded their own damn business. Anyway, how much time is left?
Less than a minute. In less than a minute, our whole lives could change. Less than a minute to learn if we're about to be parents.
And if it's negative, we just keep trying.
Why do you have to jinx it?
I wasn't trying to jinx it. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to stay optimistic here. Don't ruin that for me.
Sorry. Whatever the test says, we will move forward accordingly.
As long as we've got each other, right?
As long as we've got each other. All right, here we go.
Set a timer for 3 minutes.
I don't know why you wanted me in the bathroom with you while you peed on that thing. Look, not to kink shame, but that shit was weird.
It was for good luck. We've been trying for a little over a year now, and every time it's the same result. Thought maybe changing it up might change things.
Try not to get discouraged. We knew when we started trying it might take a while. But look, we've made changes. We've cut back on caffeine and alcohol, and we've started eating healthier. We're doing all the right things.
I've been tracking when I'm ovulating. We've even been having sex more than before.
Which I am very appreciative of.
Shut up. But also right back at you. I just didn't think it would be this difficult or that it would drain me emotionally. I've been peeing on test after test after test, only to be disappointed every time. I've peed so much, I'm starting to get dehydrated.
I get it, but look at the bright side. Since we've started trying, I've gotten a new job and you've gotten a raise. We're in a better spot financially now to bring a child into this world. Maybe it just wasn't the right time before. Maybe everything just needed to fall into place.
You're right. I want to look for a new job after the baby's born. I'd do it now, but I just don't want to start someplace new only to maybe turn around and take maternity leave.
Already making plans like you're pregnant. I like your positive attitude.
I think I'm just ready to leave that job. The raise was nice, but did I tell you what my boss said to me the other day? She came into my office, closed the door, looked at my belly, and asked if I was pregnant. Even if I am, you don't just ask someone that.
You'd think she would know better. Even I know never to ask a woman that.
So if this test is negative, I might just have to accept the fact that I'm getting fat now. So much for eating healthier. If this test is negative, we're eating tacos.
Even if she is right and you are getting fat, I still think you're beautiful.
So not helping.
Hey, didn't you say your last appointment the doctor said everything looked great?
Yeah, she said I was healthy and there's no reason I shouldn't be able to conceive.
So then the problem could be me?
I wasn't trying to say that, but it might be worth looking into depending on how this test goes.
What if it is my fault? What if I masturbated too much as a teenager? Do you think I could have run the well dry? What if I've already flushed all the good swimmers?
Marcus, just stop.
I'm sorry if I could be the reason this is taking so long. And who knew getting pregnant could be so hard? Unwed teenage mothers make it look so easy.
That reminds me, did you see that Tiffany and Shane are expecting their 5th child?
Why are they the ones who get to have kids? They're both dumb as hell and they're just raising a whole new generation of dumb as hell kids. Seems unfair. Like, why does that gene pool get to grow so easily while ours stays stagnant? We'd be great parents and we'd have great kids. Smart kids. Kids who would contribute to society.
And my mom keeps asking when we're going to give her a grandbaby. All of those years of her telling me don't come home pregnant, now she's wanting me to hurry up and get pregnant. I don't need that kind of pressure.
My mom has been asking me the same thing. My sister has already given her 3 grandkids, but she makes me feel like it's a competition and I'm falling behind or just not keeping up.
At least your mom isn't giving you weird sex tips on how to get pregnant. Apparently, I was conceived the night she put a pillow under her ass and held her legs in the air for 3 minutes to, and I quote, let gravity do all the work.
Oh, I swear to God, I hope this test is positive because that is an image of your mother I am not going to be able to shake for a while. Like, it is going to be a while before I can...
Hold that very disturbing thought.
You set the timer?
Yes, 3 minutes, same as always, same as it has been for the last 3 years. Sorry to sound short, all this waiting is just starting to get old. I'm starting to get old.
But this has to work, right? Insemination? And I know it's not the most romantic way to make a baby, but it feels more, scientific than anything else we've tried. Also, providing a semen sample is not as fun as you would think.
Why would you think it would be fun?
Well, it involves something I usually enjoy. Listen, out of all the women working in that office, they get the oldest one there to escort me back to the room. She then hands me a cup for my sample and shows off all their different types of porn. And then to top it off, she asks me if I need lube. Stephanie, someone's Nana looked me in the eye and asked if I wanted lube.
And what did you say?
Well, I felt too awkward to say anything, so I just shook my head no, and she left me alone to jack off to porn and calculate the appropriate amount of time to spend in there.
Appropriate amount of time? I think you were overthinking this.
Well, look, if I spend too long in there, it looks like I'm having too much fun, but if I come out too soon, then it looks like I'm a fast finisher. I don't want to look like a 1-minute man.
Yeah, masturbating and watching porn sounds so much more troublesome than having a doctor and some nurses I level with my lady bits while they invaded me with a tiny turkey baster.
Point taken. You win.
It's not a competition, Marcus, but yeah, I win. I just don't know what to do if this doesn't work. Like, what's our next option? How much longer and harder do we want to try? And how much money do we spend before we just accept the fact that maybe we're not meant to be parents?
Of course we're meant to be parents. We'd be great parents. Come on, we're already more mature than most new parents we know.
That's because we're older than most new parents we know. Now, when people ask when we're going to have kids, I'm starting to hint that we are running out of time and might not be able to. Some people still don't get it. Rather than showing any empathy, they just say something dumb like, anything is possible with Jesus.
Okay, Jesus was a virgin and his mother was a teenager who got pregnant her first time. Or before her first time? Either way, okay, maybe not the best example for this situation.
Sometimes they'll ask if we've considered adoption, but I'm not sure I can put myself through that. Even more waiting in anticipation just to be let down. Remember Jeff and Claire? They had so many adoptions fall through before they got their daughter, and they were heartbroken every time. I just don't think I could go through that after 3 years of this.
Well, whatever happens, we've got each other, and there is no one else I'd rather do this with.
Ever since I was a little girl, I always imagined myself being a mother. I think I'd be a good mother. A damn good mother. I just want a baby I can hold in my arms. Why can't I have that? Why does it seem like everyone else gets to have that, but I don't get to? What's wrong with me? Why don't I get to be a mother?
You're going to be a mother, Steph. A great mother. Any minute now.
You can't promise that, can you? You can be optimistic, but you can't make it happen.
I know, I'm sorry,
It shouldn't be this hard. And if it's so hard, why does everyone keep acting like it isn't? When are you going to have a baby, Stephanie? Like it's so fucking easy. Everyone's doing it. Why don't you just have a baby? Why can't you just make a fucking baby? And my mother, too, constantly hounding me. When are you going to make me a grandmother? You know, all growing up, I wasn't even sure she wanted to be a parent, but now it's the end of the world if she doesn't get to be a grandparent. You know, my brother is kind of a man whore, so there's a good chance she's already someone's grandmother and doesn't even know it.
Okay, I think we just need to take a few deep breaths, go in there, see what the test has to say. And hey, whatever happens, happens.
But what if it tells me I'm still not pregnant?
What if it says you are?
That was 3x3, written by Eric Odom.
It was performed by Devon McSherry and her husband, TJ McSherry. And still with us is Eric Odom. We tried to get him to leave while the play was going on, but he stuck around. So I guess we'll ask him some questions. You cool with that?
I was told there were snacks.
Oh, did you forget the snacks? Oh man,
Dang, I'm still new to this job. Okay,
we're not used to doing in-person interviews. We always do Zoom, and like we tried doing snacks with that before, but digital snacks just didn't work.
Yeah. Technology's not there yet.
All right, Eric. So this is your first play you ever wrote.
Yes.
You're primarily you're not new to theater though. So tell us what got you into theater.
Well, you guys were there, but for the audience, and you can fill in any gaps.
I actually didn't know that was your first theater experience.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so tell them what we're talking about.
Yeah. So I want to say it was December of 2019 or January 2020, right before things changed. It's my understanding you guys were already rehearsing the play Rules of Seconds by
John Polano.
John Polano, thank you.
Yes.
Cannot remember that name. But there was still one part that had not been cast.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And it was the role of Dr. Albert Chang, a Chinese immigrant, which I think is important for me to mention at this point. I am half Korean. And that made me qualified for this role. And yeah, I don't think I hadn't really done theater. I think I'd done things that were maybe theater or acting adjacent. Mm-hmm. And just through mutual friends, my name was mentioned. I came in, met everyone, and then, got imposter syndrome really strong and just tried to do my best.
And you did great, honestly, for your first show. That's awesome.
Yes, and just a little background information. We don't have many Asian actors here in Augusta, so
it's true.
Finding the Chinese immigrant role was a challenge for us to find and fill that spot in Augusta. But we discovered Eric, who I guess you have a natural, because like I said, I didn't realize that was your first theater experience. So you have this natural talent because you did such a great job in that. And my character got to cut off one of your fingers in that play. It was a lot of...
Yeah, very realistic looking finger.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a very realistic looking finger. But since then, you've acted in quite a few things. You've even had leading roles. I know the Rules of Seconds role as a Chinese immigrant it was more of a supporting role. It was still a pretty big part.
It was pretty decent size for my first thing.
But you've been cast in lead roles since then. You acted in our Off Broad Street short play festival recently, and you've acted in audio plays on this podcast before. So people
sometimes voice actor on this thing.
Yeah, he's sometimes a voice actor on this thing too. Yeah, so people have already heard your voice before. So tell us about the other roles you've taken on since Rules of Seconds when you started. That was 2020 when that got produced.
So, without going into it, there was a pause after Rules of Seconds.
A little bit of a pause.
For all of us, yes.
And honestly, I thought that was a one and done. It's like, I came in not to downplay it, as the diversity hire. It's like I played the role I needed to play for that. Didn't really think anything of it. And as things were starting to pick back up, the director of that play reached out to me and asked me to audition for something else he was doing. And, audition for that. It was the Velveteen Rabbit. I played an actual rabbit and a toy mouse. I think those were my roles.
I could see it. I could see it. Yeah. And then after that, it's like I've been in two things that I barely auditioned for. So the imposter syndrome was getting stronger. It's like, I need to go out there and see if I can really do this. So I auditioned for my first musical,
which was a lot.
We were also there for
Yeah,
that.
they were in that. I did not know how much musicals entailed. I was like, oh, it's got the acting, and I also like singing. Yeah, there's dancing and a lot more bodies than I had been used to.
You got some good moves though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You pulled it off, man.
Thanks. I mean, the other thing I didn't like about musicals is during rehearsal, you're watching yourself in a mirror.
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
And-
Yeah.
At that
Hard to
particular
avoid.
rehearsal,
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
particular rehearsal space, there were mirrors along every single wall. So yeah, you see yourself.
As
If you-
dancers do.
Every step you miss, every movement, you see the failure right there in your face.
If you feel you're not doing a great job, just look up and you can see it as well. Then from there, done a few episodes of this. I did have a lead role in the Blithe Spirit, and in my defense, was not aware I was auditioning for the lead role. That was lack of preparation on my part, but
Why do
mean,
you
you
say
still
that? I mean, you
got
got
it,
the part though.
I probably should have known I was auditioning for the lead role.
Honestly, when you go into an audition, you may see yourself as a certain character, but you have no control how the director sees you.
Yeah.
And it may be leading man. So there you go.
And that was I have this habit where I think I just end up getting in slightly over my head and trying to rise to that occasion.
You know,
And
that's
that
the
was
best
one
way
of
to
them.
learn.
Yeah.
You gotta, if you don't reach higher, you won't go higher.
And then, there's been a few short plays recently I've been in, which did not realize how much I would enjoy short plays. Like the commitment and turnaround, great time on both of those.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I think that's about it.
Okay, so can we talk about 3x3 now?
Yes,
Yes.
we could talk about 3x3.
So, this play, when I first read it, you sent it to me a while ago, immediate connection because it is very real conversations. So, whatever you're comfortable sharing, how did you come up with this play?
Well, it was born from frustration. But, it is one of those, it's not autobiographical, but I did write from experience.
Okay.
And I think that's where the play came from. It's like I had already had some of these anecdotes, some of these one-liners. It's, something my wife and I struggled with for years. And it's as you're retelling the story, one, it kind of becomes repetitive. That's where some of the anecdotes came from. And the other, and this is where the frustration comes in, is not only the frustration we were facing, but the social pressures. And as we shared with other friends, we realized like it's not uncommon. It's a common struggle people have. Mm-hmm. And, statistically, when I saw some of those numbers, it's like, this is something a lot of people can relate to or have experienced. And yet, admittedly well-meaning people, add that pressure. When you're already feeling that pressure privately, there's also the public pressure. And I think it was just part, writing from experience and part PSA. Like, how can I get this out there? And I peppered it with jokes because I feel comedy is a great way, or humor is a great way to just
Broach subjects without hurting anybody's feelings.
Yeah, I was gonna say like sugarcoat a jagged pill or something.
Yeah. No, I can see that in the writing, and honestly, it sounds very much like you, knowing you as a person. And
Thanks.
and actually, my husband has a similar humor. So when we were getting ready to put it together, I was like, this sounds like my husband would also say those humorous things to cut tension and make people aware of sometimes how ridiculous their questions and personal.
One of the most important things about writing, if you're writing a drama, it's good dramas have comedy in them, whether it be a moment, whether it be a longer type scene, but the best dramas do have that comedy in it. And much like I said, to either broach a subject or to find the lighthearted moment, so you have levels in the play. And I think that with 3x3, you hit that balance so perfectly to me. Like when I first read it, I even told you, I was like, this is pretty good for your first play. This is a very, very good play you put together. Now the title 3x3, obviously, did you come up with that based on the 3 short scenes, or was there another reason for 3x3 being the title?
So it was actually a placeholder that I never got around to changing. So when I thought of the concept of it, I was like, oh, it could be, to follow through time, you could do 3 3-minute segments while waiting on the results. So that's what I wrote as as the placeholder. It's like, okay, it's going to be 3-minute vignettes.
That's right. The timer's 3
Yeah.
minutes every time. Okay. Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
I never got around to thinking of anything better. And I think in my mind, I've even like reverse engineered it. It's like, oh, well, 3 times 3 is 9, which is kind of the goal they're going for, is that 9 months. And you're also following them, is 3 stories over 3 years. I think I even made the timeline 3 years just to
fit in the category.
Yeah, just to
All the
justify.
threes.
Just to justify.
So what you're saying is I should re-edit it to only be 3 minutes, or 3 minutes per scene, so 9 minutes total. Is that what I should go back and do? Or?
Just speed up the dialogue just a little bit.
That is one of those. I did think about it because I'll watch a movie and it's like, this bomb's going to go off in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, this has been a
That's a
3
very
minute
long
scene.
60 seconds. Yeah.
5 minutes later,
Yeah.
the bomb still hasn't gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
So I imagine that's probably exactly what will happen with this.
It's fine. It's, theatrical liberties.
But this girl here, in that play, she acted in it so well, found all the right comedic moments, and then you had your breakdown at the end, which was just perfect and well written as well. The way you had her kind of collapse into her emotions, it's very. Again, you found that balance perfectly with how that wrapped up.
Yeah.
Thanks. I mean, you guys could just keep complimenting me.
He's like, I'll stay here forever.
I like this part of the interview. Just tell me more.
It's funny in real life, just out as friends, it's like it's insults all over the place. And then he comes in here and he's getting compliments.
That's how we do.
Apparently, we just need cameras all the time. Cameras and an audience.
Yeah.
All right. So, as a writer, do you have any other ideas in the pipeline? Are you going to keep doing this? Because, I think you have a talent for it. I think I shouldn't keep giving you compliments.
Yeah, stop it.
You're going to...
He's going to leave us and never come back.
He's going to leave us
He'd be
with
like,
this.
I can do better.
So do you have anything else that you would like to try to, or whether it be a short play or maybe you want to try a full-length play or anything like that?
I do have a few half-baked ideas. I think one is more solid than the other, so that might be the next one I try writing. There's another idea I had for a short play, but the more I think about it, it might work better as a full-length play, and I'm not there yet, but it's like, let me just keep that on the back burner, and maybe over time I can keep adding to it. And not that I'm trying to get more compliments, but this is another, I kind of wanted to see how this goes, because I didn't want to just keep making something that nobody wanted or asked for. Like back when Shaquille O'Neal did music, I didn't want to be that guy.
Oh my gosh.
What
Stick in your lane, Eric.
What a reference.
Does Shaq listen to this podcast? Because
We're going to find out.
yeah.
No, I think that if you have the passion for it, whether you think people are going to consume it or not, just do it, man. Just if it's something you want to do, if you got an idea you want to put down, and whether it gets out there in the world or not, at least have that your own personal achievement that you did that. And if you do have ideas for a full length play, I know something that's helped me is sometimes it's good to write it as a short play first, and then you can expand it from there. I don't know if that's any value to you.
No, that helps because, little secret about me, I have no idea what I'm doing.
as
Just
many of us
winging
do.
it.
That's another reason. It's like, I haven't really put a second story down, because it's like
Yeah.
that first one that came from a personal place,
Right.
and now it's like, okay, let's see if I can be more fictional, with things. So, like I said, I have a few half-baked ideas. It's just getting them down.
It's kind of easy to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
That's how I've got my one on this thing, and I'm scared to do another.
I mean, J.D. Salinger did it, and it worked for him. I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it worked
Yes,
for him or
but
not.
Devon, you've had stage productions of that one since then.
Yes.
So
I did.
that could be the next step for Eric.
Yeah.
Don't get my hopes up.
Hey, it could happen, man. I see it. So let me introduce you to. I don't know if you've heard of the New Play Exchange. We've talked about it quite a few times. I don't know. I don't think you're on there.
I'm not on there. I've considered it because
Well, I
the
wanted
price starts low.
to. If this is something that you want to keep doing, there's a value there that I think you would get. Because you get to read other people's works, you get to see how other people structure things, and not that you're going to go steal ideas, but it'll sort of give you sort of a baseline on what works and sometimes what doesn't work, and then ways to come up with your own creative ways of doing things. Okay. So something to consider.
I think I was waiting until I had a second one, but I didn't know if it looked sad to just.
Oh man, I
go
only have
there
my
with just
one
the
on there.
Okay.
Well, even if you
I have
don't,
a couple others written that I just
even if you
haven't-
don't post your plays on there, they have like a reading
readers,
membership to where you can
Okay.
just go and read plays by
Oh, that's good to know.
playwrights from around the world. What do you do? What does your real life consist of? What do you do? What's your work like and all that?
I am a web developer by career. That sounds weird. I'm a web developer. That is my regular day-to-day job.
Okay, is that what you went to school for and all that?
No. So I went to school for computer science. Did not finish. I dropped out. People know that. It's fine. So I worked in IT for a while and then worked for this like a nonprofit. And because I did IT, they also wanted me to make and maintain a website because it also involved computers. And just for the record, those are two very different skill sets and jobs. But I just discovered it's like I enjoyed the web development more. I think it gave me a kind of a nerdy outlet for creativity. Like it's a combination of like, all right, there's a little bit of nerd here. I get to be a little creative, because you try to figure out like, how would I make this happen? Or how would I, how would I make this real? So I got a job doing that, and that led to other jobs, and that is now what I do for a living. And I'd like to think I do it pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you have your theater life on the side.
Yeah, which
Kind of like me. I have my day job, but then I have my hobbies as well.
Yeah.
So.
I joke that theater is one of those things I kind of fell into accidentally, and it's become my middle-age hobby.
And now you're just stuck in it. Your foot just can't get out of there.
We trapped him.
I could be really weird about trains, and that gets expensive.
It
so yeah, this one is mostly free.
Nice. And then you get to like hang out with other people.
Yeah, most of them are pretty cool people.
Most of them.
We hope
Most of
so.
them. 50% no.
Oh, that means you
50%
suck.
of it.
Because I'm awesome. So
What if you're the other side of the 50%?
No.
Oh, man, that's messed up.
I mean, I have been in more things with Jonathan,
Oh,
darn.
which means more exposure to Jonathan, which could influence my opinion.
That's true.
he exposed himself to me.
Oh no.
Oh,
hear that?
that's
I
That's
heard
what he just
it.
said.
that is yeah. Well, that's why I had to get these clothes out of the trash.
As far as acting goes, do you have is there anything coming up that you plan on auditioning for or anything like that? Or
Nothing currently. I do have something acting adjacent.
Oh, okay.
what you got going on?
So you guys are aware, but for everyone else, there is a local improv group called Schrodinger's Cat.
Oh, yes.
They perform the first Friday of every month. They perform 2 shows at Le Chat Noir, one at 8 p.m., one at 10 p.m. Some months back, I got the invitation to start rehearsing with them. And I believe I will be taking the stage for the first time in the very near future at the 10 p.m. show. So if you're up late on a first
In
Friday in
Augusta.
Augusta, then you should check it out. And even if I'm not taking the stage, they are a very talented group.
They're a funny bunch.
Yeah, and the tickets cost about as much or as a movie ticket. So it's a good way to spend 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Awesome.
Definitely keep us updated on when you're hitting the stage for that. And yeah, I would count that as, I know it's improv, but still, you're on the stage, you're performing.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's its own skill set though too as well.
Yeah.
It is, I've been asked to rehearse, and there was way more, or start rehearsing with them a while back, and there was way more to learn than I expected, because it wasn't just about like, oh, how do you turn this into a joke? It's like, oh, how do you follow story structure? How do you,
Create a character
yeah.
and
Or how do you listen? It's like if this person says this, then you want to keep that consistent. Like if a character is introduced with a certain name, you want to remember that. And hopefully those are skills that will, help me more on stage.
Yeah.
So look at that. You came into theater being cast as a Chinese immigrant, a supporting role of a play, Rules of Seconds by John Polano.
Great
You
play.
went on to act in more plays, got a leading role in Blithe Spirit out in Aiken. You've written your first play, and now you're about to be on stage doing some improv. Look at that.
all sorts of skills.
You got all kinds of things going on.
Well, thank you.
All right, so where can people find you? Do you have a website? You're a web developer. Is that a...
Oddly enough, I do not currently
Oh
have a
my
website. I
gosh.
spend all day making websites. I don't necessarily want to do it for funsies.
I got it. That
But
makes
also,
makes sense.
First thing about websites is like I don't want one to exist just because. Like if I made a website, I would want it to have a purpose. And right now, I cannot think of any reason for me to have a website. But
Gotcha.
when that day comes, I'm pretty sure I can get one, pretty easily.
What are you talking about? All-star actor, playwright, and improver Eric Odom. I would go visit that website.
I'm not that cocky.
All right. So what about social media? If anyone wants to kind of see what you're up to.
I'm technically on Facebook. Mostly that is me promoting stuff that I'm in or other people are in locally. But technically I'm on Facebook. It exists. Let's be honest, it's mostly populated by confident idiots. So I don't do too much there. But the Gather by the Ghostlight Facebook page is great. Keep supporting that one.
Oh, he had to throw a compliment out because we've
Yeah.
been complimenting him. I see.
No,
how it is.
I also just
Okay.
realized you guys do a lot of work on Facebook. Let me not fully
It's like let me
Bash.
backpedal a little bit.
insult
Let me,
Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Rice Doom, all one word. Same thing. I'm on Threads because sometimes I like making a joke for like 12 people. So
Nice.
Threads
There you
is
go.
where that goes.
Good jokes too. Good jokes.
Oh, thank you. And I think that's about it for my socials. So, try to narrow it down. So.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, Eric Odom, thank you for being here. Thank you for stalking my house, digging through my trash, finding clothes. I really hope you keep going with this playwriting thing because you got there's something there. And I think you need to write some more, and I really hope you do. I know you got some more ideas. Just get them out there, and
Thank you
knows?
for trusting us with this script.
No,
yeah.
thank you
and,
for the encouragement.
And just like Devon here, who premiered her play years ago, and now she's sitting here as a co-host. This is just proof that dreams do come true. On Gathered by the Ghostlight.
Not to mess up your wrap up, but since you guys have been so nice to me and give me compliments, I do want to point out the thing that encouraged me to actually write a short play was listening to this podcast. Because so many of the playwrights, they had other day jobs and this was just something they did. And it's like, oh, maybe that's something I could try.
There you go. There it is. There it is. That's the I
Sound
like
clip.
that. That's good. Very good. All right. Well, thank you, Eric. Thanks for joining us. Keep creating, and I hope that your second play, you're right. We get to do that one on here as well.
Thanks.
Thank you all for listening. And if you are associated with a theater and you would like to produce the play you heard today on your stage, send an email to gatheredbytheghostlight@gmail.com to get connected with the playwright. And if you'd like to continue to help us grow and you want more video content, please subscribe to the Gathered by the Ghostlight channel on YouTube. And if you'd like to have some cool Gathered by the Ghostlight merchandise, t-shirts are available at the merchandise link in the show notes, and you can also find the Gathered by the Ghostlight annual companion books available at Amazon. Intro and outro music, as always, is provided by artist JK47. And if you enjoy this podcast, maybe you're a longtime listener, or maybe this is the first episode you've ever heard, let us know. Please leave us a rating or a review in all the places that you can. That kind of activity, it really does help us get discovered by more listeners like you. And also be sure to follow Gathered by the Ghostlight on social media to stay up to date on new episodes. I'm Jonathan Cook, and as always, stay safe, and I'll see you next time we Gather by the Ghostlight.